Hi, this is Sheila with Conscious Conversation Central, and today is Wednesday. Uh, I almost wanted to say December. Now, I know that's not right. February the 5th, 2020. Wow. Okay. And I'm back again with my Gal Pal posse, otherwise known as Lisa Flamino Rush and BZ Rieger. Thanks for coming tonight, ladies.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I love your title for this, BZ, because but we're going to talk about me. No.
Of course we are.
Well, I know that I'm not the only one, but yes, we're going to call this one Disjointed and Discombobulated. Let go and the true foothold will appear. And I like that because we actually started talking about this off camera first, because I've done a short video about it. I've not been recording really very much. Well, last week's recording God, that felt like last week. The last recording that we did really was the first recording that I've done other than a brief why I've been away kind of video. And I've just been feeling very disjointed and discombobulated. And I mean, I see some others feeling the same way. Not a lot of folks, because, most people, I guess, don't post about this. But then again, I'm not most people. So I know I'm not the only one. I'm sure I'm not the only one. And I loved the way you described, BZ, for me, the video that played for you when I was describing. I mean, I've shared before that over the, like right before Christmas, I don't know, I felt very odd. And I know that I had that, what I call the flu, which is frequency light upgrades. We did another conversation about that before. I'm going to link that in the show more section here. And I know that is part of what has been going on with me, because I've had some very painful rearranging going on in my body involving my ribs. I talked about it once before. And all at the same time, I had that, upper respiratory type. It wasn't really a sickness. There was no real fever involved. A lot of, phlegm and coughing and whatnot, which was painful with the ribs rearranging, let me just say. But the disjointed and discombobulated feeling, what I was describing to you guys before we got on camera, is ever since the solstice, I've felt some things changing. There are some abilities that have come online and strengthened as I've worked with them, my intuitive skills and whatnot. But there are other things that I felt a certain momentum with that just kind of have evaporated. And so that's why I'm really glad we chose the kind of title that we did. And BZ, I'd love it if you can try to recreate what you had come in for you when I was sharing that with you before, because I thought that was an excellent kind of why we decided to go ahead and talk about it, because what you had to share about it was very helpful for me and brought up some other things that we're going to talk about for me, because it begets all sorts of other things, and for me explains a whole bunch of other things that have taken place in this window for me that I I couldn't really put my finger on the whys and the wherefores. And I kind of like to know the whys and the wherefores, you know, so.
Well, I said, if I could just show you the video that came in, it would be a whole lot easier than trying to, describe it. So I tried to describe it. What's happening for all beings, it's a super accelerated expansion and ascension and a moving, completely moving out of the well, I was going to say out of the third dimension, and that's so, although it's more to the point to say, especially for people who say, okay, yeah, I got on the bus and I've left. It's not that kind of thing. It's the distortions of, and the templates of, and the old false construct patterns of. And you're still in physical, but the physicality is changing. So that was part of it. So that's all of that old you is actually dying, and all of your bodies right here in the shirt are all dying. It's all going away. It's all dying. So it's letting go of, if you've ever when something dies, it voids all that is in it, and then it goes on to its next, the energy materialize. Okay, so what I said was that's happening, and at the same time everything is birthing anew, totally reconfiguring, reconforming, reappearing, because it's energy that goes into the nothingness and coalesces back into the form, in this case ness, on all of the bodies in the shirt.
Right. Now, when you were saying that, what I got on that was, it really wasn't until I started this spiritual journey where I understood about the emotional body, the energetic body. Of course, we have a physical body, we have a pain body, we have all those different kinds of, for lack of a better word, and the linear language fails, but they're not linear. They're more like energetic bodies. But that's not the only bodies you're referring to in this case, right? I mean, because we're multidimensional.
Right. Well, yeah, I hadn't gotten there.
Oh, okay.
So you've got, that's what I said, just in the shirt. So you've got that, but you're also multidimensional. So all of the other components of you, all of the total of you that is your soul and that signature are all, we've talked about this since the beginning, are all imploding into you. So that's a lot of you into you in a lot of bodies, and each individual one, and all the things that it comes with. That's a lot of stuff. Even if do you think it's just you are being disjointed? Well, okay, you are being disjointed and discombobulated, and you're reconfiguring and all that kind of stuff. So you're dying and you rebirth, hold on. But what I added, and Lisa had given an example of this a long time ago, where she'd had a vision, conversation, and dream that it was another Lisa who was married to Albert, who had and all the combinations of, there was a question that she'd chosen, and this one had chosen differently than Lisa. So every time that you have a node point that you're making decisions, so one decision, yes or no, but there's all sorts of permutations in between, and that spins off realities, right? So you, Lisa, have gone down this road and have a whole life, and then this road, and then this road, and then this road. So each of those shirts, right, are going through the whole process, and in the dying and the reconfiguring, they're coming back to this shirt, right?
Right.
So And that's for each node point. So then I said, okay, so you have one node point here as a decision, and that was a 10 Lisa node point. And this one's a 15 Lisa node point. And this one's a 2 Lisa node point. And this is a 50 Lisa node point, right? And that could be even in just, well, for some people, depending on how expansion path they're on, in a day or a year, whatever it is. So that's a lot of shirts, multi-dimensional, so, I'm not sure how you do the hand motion, but coming all back in. And as that's going on, I think one of the ways that is helpful to describe it. So you realize that you've let go of something, whatever comes to you. I'm not going to go into too much detail right now because I want someone to paint their own picture. But you let go of something, and you realize it's a completion on that, and then you realize that you've just embraced, invited in, expanded into this new thing. And again, everybody will fill in their own thing. So this could be a habit, it could be a relationship, it could be an action that you're taking, it could be a physical thing, it could be all sorts of things because it's on all the body. So you fill in whatever that is. This could be a new kind of, you could use this as kind of a reverse, but this is a new ability, it's a new superpower, this is a new routine, this is a new flow, this is a new noticing, this is a new expansion, this is a new habit for health or whatever it is. So all of those things, and everything that you've ever thought of, felt, acknowledged, known, and everything that you haven't yet felt of, acknowledged, known, and that you're going to, or you had thought you did that and discounted, all of those apply. So, you get a lot of stuff around all the shit. And so as all this is happening, and we're in a super hyper accelerated expansion of all of this, because that window is closing for that we chose, that we decide, right? For the window is, and so now is this point where everything that is doing this focusing point where it all comes together, and all we're throwing off the sneakers and the clothes and the hat and this and that thing, and we're going through that new canal, that new birthing, that new ascension, the new Big Bang, right?
I'm sorry, the eye of the needle just
Yes.
kicked.
Yeah. And so it comes out, and as you do that on the there could, so I think then I painted the picture of, well, oh, finally you let that go, or oh my God, I let that go, or whatever it is. So, and you're dealing with all of that, and then you realize this new ability. Oh, hey, that's what that is. Oh, look, I can play. I can do this. And as you're doing these different things, you can be having the death and the birth, just for use that as a shorthand, in 1/2 of a nanosecond. You got a death, and the other half is right, and then so it's kind of going like this, and as you are quantum jumping in your multidimensional realignment and rebirth, and I may have to pause. And as you do this, you can get distracted. You can feel disjointed because, hey, this is gone, and this worked, and now this doesn't work, and what's that doing back? And so it's like, and you also are feel like moving forward and not moving forward, and all these different things. And so you reach for something. You're trying to, what happens is a good picture metaphor is, if you're rock climbing, you're trying to get a handhold on something, and you see something, or you think, I need to get my footing, I need to get a handhold, I need to just be able to, okay, I'm gonna stand here for a minute, okay, catch my breath. And a lot of times, because of that disjointedness, that grasping, that attachment, that just not being willing to notice and then let go, right? The Indiana Jones, and he's in the cavern, and the guys are running after him, and he gets to the end, and it's about to fall off the thing, and he's like, and he steps, right? So the true foothold appears, and it's not what's the truth, because the truth is only true for you in how you're doing it, and the true foothold won't appear until you let go. So, for example, a lot of people have recounted very recently to me in the last month or so, I mean, a huge number on all different range of things, that I wanted this, or this seemed like the thing to do, or wow, this just showed up, and sometimes it fit and it was a true foothold. But oftentimes what people were discussing was that they tried to force it. They tried to, I want this, was what they thought they were saying. What they were really saying is, I should want this, right? This would be good for me, or this would be the good thing, or this would be just what I need to get out of it, right? So it was all moving from not a fully aligned, heart-centered, expansive place. It was basically trying to get the hell out of here to go over there, right? And
Yep.
as soon as you let go, which can be sometimes quite dramatic and sometimes just, right, then the true foothold shows up. So that's a very short hand of what's going on and what's occurring and why it's occurring, and it's glorious. It's something to celebrate. It's amazing, because as you get this, you keep climbing and reaching and expanding and jumping to and thrusting forth to whole new vistas, whole new trails appear, whole new, get to the peak of something in the summit, and then you can just dance across the bridge to this whole other world, and all these different things are literally and figuratively, that's what you are doing and occurring. And some could unfold for you, like, the well-worn roped bridge, across the chasm. It could be gorgeous birds, that heavenly beautiful thing over there, or someone's chasing you, however you want to set it up. And then you get in the middle, and it's like, whoa, you're hanging on to one toothpick, and you're over the ravine. And as soon as you let go, which may feel like letting go, because you're being guided, you are guiding you the whole time, and that letting go is that trust. That letting go is, in essence, what's happening is you're becoming one with you, all of the things that we talked about. And it's funny, all these different kind of Earth cinematography movies are coming, where Superman can come in and grab you. So there's nothing to say, there's nothing to fix, nothing is wrong, and you are the savior and all those kinds of things, because you do it for yourself, and you do it in a way not from a disadvantaged, from rescued sort of thing. You do it from a Shazam energy. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. I guess if you're paying attention to yourself, and this really explained for me when you were sharing all of that, and actually the title too, because I was feeling and I have been feeling very, okay, what the hell, is going on? I haven't, really felt drawn to record. which is so not like me. And you know, it's called to mind. I was sharing with the two of you before when you originally gave me that that video that was coming in, just like you did just now for you, as to what I was describing. It actually explains some of the other things that I found myself doing, and up to and including, I shared with you guys that I went and signed up for a dating app. And I don't regret that, because that experience now of having done that, which I've taken my profile down, first of all, it taught me I'm in no way, shape, or form ready for that. But it was a grasping. There was a whole lot of expectations that I had about where I would be at this point, or what I've expected of myself, this transition, all of these sorts of things, and attachments as well to all of that. Mm-hmm. And having that experience with that dating app thing, which like I said, it was an interesting experience, and a necessary one for myself in a lot of different ways. It certainly showed me how far I've come in trusting myself and how I feel, and not stepping beyond my own boundaries. And you know, how if something doesn't feel right, there's just I'm not going to move forward in any way, shape, or form. Not just with that, with anything. That's a promise I made to myself. But it was just very interesting, because I hadn't made that connection from doing that, or feeling. And it wasn't really a need. It was more what I thought was a desire. And I don't know, your description of what we really are doing. And I could feel it in the whole of me, that what you're describing is exactly what's going on with me. Some of my experiences of in the dream space attest to exactly what you're saying as being so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's all of your body. So, you know, you've talked about physical things. You can feel something in your body where, whoa, that really hurts, and then you might notice, okay, my hand's a little different shape than it was, or your finger may be bent and it's stuck bent, and you're thinking, well, I haven't done anything or gone anywhere in this moment, right? You know. And then you shift something in it, or you play with it in a different way, and it disappears. So you can't have something that's kind of bent and broken and stuck 1 nanosecond, and the next one, hey, it works just great, right? So all these things are it's reconfiguring, but it's on all of your bodies, and they'll cross train, they'll cross die and birth at the same time. So what I mean by that is, if you're looking at, just to give this example, this because it's this one finger that was doing, if you're looking at that and you feel the physical, but then your brain, oh my God, that looks like my grandmother's finger when she was 90 something, and how could that be? I was like, all of a sudden, right? And then you go, so now you've got the mental, you've got the emotional, you've got all these kind of things, and now you've changed the electromagnetic and the frequency. So, hey, you're cross-training all sorts of places. Or you may be doing all that kind of thing, and someone asks you a question, or you look at something, and in a response, the response comes more from the energetic that you were in the cross training, and then they're going through their own thing, and they look at that, and that, so that's you're cross training with somebody else now too. You know what I mean? So it goes on where you can look at something that's going on with the impeachment trial and the resolution today. You can look at news headlines. You can look at new articles coming out about, this person arrested or this person indicted. Or you can look at things that are going in the yellow vest. You can look at now that's shifting and changing in all of those bodies turns. You've got the firemen now are in the yellow vests, and they're cross training with the police, the faction of those who are not. So everything is showing this, and all of that external stuff does not get out there, because nothing gets out there until we put it out there. And so that will show you, if you need a proofing, that all of every being who's going through this hyper accelerated thing is doing all this, and they're placing it out there in a conscious, although maybe not cognized to the person in the shirt, right? They're placing it out there as a way to orchestrate all of that change, so that there's reaction, interaction, expansion, and then flowing through. And what we're doing, is going through the Big Bang, the real Big Bang, where all of this is imploding and releasing and completely just gone. So think of it as all of the frequency, all the stuff which was a body part or a shirt or a job or a system or a structure is dematerializing into pure energy, and instantly it's reforming into completely new energy with new, totally new ways, whys and hows in every body, every level, everything to go forward. And some people, you'll see, just look around, there's a lot of people, all of a sudden that person died, or all of a sudden this happened, or they were perfectly healthy and they sneezed and they had a complication from a sneeze and left. Well, that's because they've made the agreement. And so as they imploded, they're coming right out in the Big Bang, right into embodiment to finish it on the new level, the new birthing, and they bring that all through. So that's, when you we talked about in your own self in a conversation, but when you watch something, maybe you watch something, maybe there was a feeling, you mentioned this a little bit, Sheila, the reaction to the acquittal, or I think you're going to see, lots of fireworks. In my time zone, it'll be 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, and that will set off a whole lot of other things that will flow forward. So that can be a moment of it's a death of one thing and a whole process and a birth of something new at the same time. And all of that came to fruition because of you, right? And at the same time, you're using that as a metaphor, a reflection metaphor that's then, if there are other things that are similar frequency in you, can now go, okay, dead, and okay, birthing now. And because this is so hyper accelerated, there are lots of things within your, it's not quite accurate, but placeholder words. So all of your body's fields, kind of like, not accurate, but kind of like a memory field or a scripting or creation field, or abundance, metaphors, or abundance map, or those kinds of things. And from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years, however you are, and how long have you been doing it, right? And so as you go through these gyrations, and so that's what I'm saying, if you let go instead of reaching for, because what you may have wanted back then will come through, because it's popped through, and so it shows up and you think, well, I think I want that, or I should want that, or Yeah, that's good, because you kind of remember that attachment to that then, not realizing that you're here now and you're fully having now the connection of your superpowers and your creator. And so you reach for that, you brought it forward. It doesn't fit now because, yeah, it was cool back then, but look at all that you've traveled. And so it needs to pop in so you can do what we just talked about to that. And it may take just a whiff, right? Or it may be longer, or it may be like a building falling on your head, or it may be something that's great, and then all of a sudden, washes away. And what that done, same thing is the attachment can't be there. If you let go, and you can actually do a couple things. You can see that it was this, or feel the energetic of that was back here, and you move it here, and in that motion you can go, oh yeah, I remember that, and I'm looking at this, and I feel this, and the being, the thing, whatever it is, can change all of a sudden, in that thing, the opportunity, the situation, the experience, whatever it is. Or it can come through and you can go, this seems familiar, and so you kind of reach back in that thing, and in that moment it's this gorgeous gift that's a crystallization, and you go, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, but really, and you can then, you're taking off the stuff, you're letting that part die, and on all of the bodies, all of the levels, and then you can birth from that. So, I need a woman, or I need a man, or whatever it is, right? And it's all this sort of thing, and because back then it was more of the oftentimes not fully heart-based, certainly not energetically all that much based, and it was more, abundance, and it's good. So if I get the right guy or gal, or this, the car, and this, that, and the other thing, and there was no holding of it. So now it comes by and you can see it, and you may not see it right away, and you may go, hey, it's here, it's landed, and then it may take a day, a year, whatever it is, and you go through it. Or again, very rapidly, it's like this whirlwind thing of a couple months, and you go from nirvana to no, and through these things, and you, again, that's a wonderful gift, because you've polished off all of that, and in that there's death and death and death and death and death, and all this new expansion birth. So in other words, you can have a death of something, for put whatever you want in it, and it bursts and it dies and it bursts and it dies and it bursts and it dies by the end of the day, from the morning to the night. So that would be a little discombobulating if you're not quite sure, well, geez, I can't make up my mind, or what's this, or what's that, or why is it here, or why did I have the superpower? No, I don't. And again, because where was the energetic, the frame from which it was created? And you're that good. I mean, you're just that freaking good. So it came the way you conjured it. But you're not where you were when you conjured it.
Well, there's, for one thing for sure, that I've noticed over this time period, is that all of what you're describing also brings with it, for me in particular, and I'm supposing for everyone else, with the power of noticing and paying attention to your noticings, is for me noticing different programs within me that are it's like, well, aren't I supposed to be doing something?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I think that's what actually facilitated the whole dating app to begin with. Well, I'm not going to meet anybody sitting inside my house, so I got to do something,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
I'm going to stop you for a minute right there. So because
okay.
This is really important to mark this. It could be about dating, it could be about anything else. So that's part of what is dying. that construct of,
Yes.
I have to do something to get it. So that's part of the thing. Shouldn't I be? Wouldn't it be something, right? All of those words which are attached to those frequencies, to the thought, which is a social structure, a social moray, a social this, that, the other thing, all of those. So it's not just, it's all of your bodies. It's all of those layers, and you may not think of the way that your communication is a body, but it is. It's a connective, communicative body, and it holds a vast weight of programming and conditioning and attachments and fear-based things. So all sorts of things. So pretty much from, well, I was going to say, from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you wake up in the morning, because that's the dream part or all that kind of stuff. It's all of it imposed. And so if you can let go, and someone said, well, how do you do that? It'll feel different for different people, but you can at first just let go for a minute. So something is okay, so I'll kind of give a real example metaphor. I can, it's work related, so I can only do so much. But so something is finished and dying. There is no, it's in the space where there's no emergency. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to fix. And every moment is perfect, and actually rebirth and a totally new something in that moment. So it's almost like whole new lifetimes are living in each day in a new dynamic, because not only for what's going on with that one, all the other beings that come around and come into connection with that one, or come into connection with ones who are coming into connection with that. Does that make sense? So what happened in the very first place is that there was a death, not of the being, but of the construct of, health, or the construct of what's wrong, or the construct of fixing, or all that kind of stuff. And that is something that is affecting each other being around on all of the body's levels, right? So that, in this example, that thing died. Oh my God, I don't have to fix this. Okay. Well, if I'm not going to fix it, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to actually experience this. I'm going to be fully present in this. Well, that sets up another thing, because each time you let go with one thing, you realize that you've been that's been the catalyst for birthing, dying and birthing in a whole myriad of other ways within you, within your your surroundings, your personal life, the outer, not quite so personal ring, how you look at something else going on out there on the stage of the world. Excuse me. And so that's how you do it. And so letting go would be the first thing. Is this just happens to be sitting here, but take a box, and you can use a physical box, if you want, you can make a nice one. And when you encounter something, I have to be sad because something happened, or I have to be mad, or I have to be, oh my God, what am I going to do? Whatever it is. And you take it and you put it in here. You may write it down. Everybody will play with it in different ways. If you need to be more tangible, you may get a bunch of Post-it notes and write, I'm angry, I'm pissed off, I'm worried, I'm scared, I'm freaking out, I'm discombobulated, and maybe you tear the piece of paper, whatever. You throw them all in here, and you just set it down for a moment. And now you meet whatever that situation, being, whatever it is, that gave up all these things you put in here, right? okay, well, I'm let all that, I can pick it back up. Oh, no, it's not going far. You know, I can take it back out in case you miss it, right? Just put it aside. And then how do you meet this? All that's right there, but right now that's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you play with it in a totally different way. And as you do that, that's the letting go of. And you've you know, you could say you've planted a whole garden right here as you took these things that you put in this box. They were releasing, they were dying, they were letting go, and they're in the box. And at the same time, you fertilize the field, you've put the magic bean seeds in, right? You've gone shazam to make them grow, or the sunlight, or however you want to use your metaphor. And you've grown new things from that. And if you're just staying in here for a minute, you think, okay, well, I kind of wanted this stuff in here because, you know, it's attached to the anger or the freaking out or whatever it is. And a couple things may happen. You may go reach in, take it back out and go, well, I don't want that. Just like the thing that you wanted, you thought you wanted, you should have from before, right? Because you wanted, you thought you should want, you know, you got a habit of that. It doesn't serve you anymore. So you can realize you're taking, or you may look in here and it's gone because, as I said, that when it's something has died, it's the death of, it's gone back to pure energy. And so in the box could be things that have reformulated in a whole new way, whether it's a feeling, an energetic, a vision that comes to you, an actual physical thing, all sorts of ways unfold with that. And that's how you play with it. It's going to be different for every being, but the act of letting go. So if you're letting go of something, you release the hold on it. You take a pause. You take a breath. You're still for a moment. You're soft at looking at something. If you're focusing on something, your brow is furrowed and your head is tight and you get a clenching in it, right? It's just put your shoulders back and just take a breath, or just gaze out the window, or pet a cat, or put your hand or your feet, your toes in the grass, or around here, which is pretty easy to do, reach your hand out and, catch the rain that's falling in your hand. You know what I mean? And just in that moment, that's your noticing bridge to let go, and then make the conscious choice to play with it in a different way. It is work, yes, absolutely. And you are amazing. You are inarguably a kick-ass creator being. And for you, and the truth of who you are, this is as fun as it gets, because in this part that you went, and you don't remember anything, you remembered it's coming back in snippets. To some people a lot, some people a little, some people disjointed, some people discombobulated. I remember, I'm a genius, oh my God, I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, right? And it's like this. So just grab one thing for a moment, but grab it like it's this amazing butterfly, and grab it where you just look at it. If you're playing with a butterfly, you're not going to go like this with it. Well, okay, you won't have the butterfly long if you do that. So you can have some kind of thought in your mind of how you would do that, and let it go. And you will see it's beautiful, because when you truly do that, oftentimes there's not much space, between the letting go and something coming forward. But a simple way, it's a breath of fresh air. It's a stuffy house that hasn't been opened in millennia, and the window's open, and wow, you can hear birdsong when you haven't heard it for millennia. So it comes right in. It's the breath of God is you're allowing to come in through you, and you're letting the light finally shine through the irises of your eyes, and you can see all this that was not there a moment ago.
Well, all of this has been very helpful for me on several different levels. Because I mean, I have noticed certainly some programming that has come up, you know, like, I won't say reasserted, but that I've noticed in connection with all of this.
Yeah, that's the same for me too. I feel like I'm having a life review because it seems like all the stuff that I was attached to, believed in, just even habitual ways of doing things aren't working anymore, and they don't feel comfortable, and that can lead to some of that discombobulated feeling you were describing there. And yet I feel at the same time the growth. So I feel like, oh wow, I'm mastering this finally. I feel really powerful in this way. And then I take a nap, and when I wake up, I'm Bambi on ice. I can't keep my feet underneath me. But I know that part of that for me is I'm in this brand new place, right? And I'm trying to do all the old things, like I'm dragging my past with me, trying to recreate old comfort zones. Oh, what I've taken to doing is just laughing at it, you know, when I catch myself doing that. Because it's kind of funny, really. And it takes the charge out of it for me personally.
Yeah.
And then I can look at it with fresh eyes, let go, and just say, okay, so what really is in this moment? Because a lot of things aren't even a part of my reality, but I bring them into this moment. Like I can almost witness myself create the struggle where there isn't any. So I laugh at myself.
Oh, yeah, I bust a gut pretty much round the clock.
And I got a feeling there'll be more of this for us too, won't there? Because of just from the sheer amount of crumbling or
Oh yeah, you're gonna meet a whole lot
systematic.
that you need to meet in a way, meet it and not judge it, not be attached to it, not be, oh my God, not, you know, wrong, bad, good, this, you know, save, fix, da 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 da. Nothing is wrong. There are no emergencies. Just let everything go in that moment. You know, like I said, the box is good because then the linear brain, the linear kind of categorizing and organizing and attachmentizing and, you know, awfulizing, you put it in the box. It's right here. It's not going too far. You know, make it a pretty box so it's not messing up your house. And just set it right there. But actually do it. You know, for those people who if they have a particularly hard time when they're like, I don't get it when you say play. I mean, I get it when you say play with it, but I don't get it when you say play with it. So what the hell am I supposed to do with playing with it? How do I do that? I mean, would you just give me the manual? How do I do that, right? So here's a box. Get a stack of Post-it notes, right? And start to write them in there. So that's tangible, so that you can feel the flow. So the flow of your brain, because that's mostly where they're centered, it comes out through the arm, and your energy is flowing out through the ink and the pen. It's on the paper. It's now there. It's materialized so that you can then see it to go, really? I didn't know that was in there. Where'd that come from, right? You know? And that's the one thing you're doing here, but it can also, as you see those things coming forward, but you're letting them go. It's the short version. I gotta pause.
Say what?
I have to pause.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back. It really doesn't look like we paused, but we did. Well, I was going to say before we paused, you mentioned before when we were talking off camera, um, and it really drove home for me the whole everything is metaphor. You said, there's a lot out there right now about trust the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And well, obviously my soul has a plan. And I guess all of this feeling discombobulated has shown me that I just need to trust the plan.
Or stop fighting it.
Right. Well, right. Stop fighting. Well, really, honestly, I didn't think I was fighting the plan. I just felt weird and off. Like I couldn't put my finger on what was going on. And this conversation has been very helpful for me in that, well, just everything you've said, first of all, kind of, there's a resonance in my body that knows that what you're saying is so. And it brought to mind too that what we just got through saying, you were saying about what we see out there is out there because we're putting it out there.
Yeah, it's the only way it gets
so
out.
This is an accelerated process, and everyone's going to feel it differently within their own.
And we're going slowly now.
Oh, really? Okay, well.
So we're going to put the D in a big D in the discombobulated because it hasn't been there yet.
Well, okay. So buckle up, baby, is all I guess I can say, because I do.
Or let go.
Well, yeah, okay.
Flip over on your back and float.
See, I know all of those things, but like I said, when this happened the way it did, it just really threw me for a loop. And I was trying to, honestly, I thought, okay, I guess that was part of my big mistake. It was I thought.
Right, you thought
I was relaxing into it.
That's an old tool. Thought is an old tool, or fixing it, or looking at it, or comparing it, or what's this going on? I don't understand. I'm disconnected. I'm labeling. I'm judging. I'm freaking. I'm getting down on myself. I need a lot more hands and fingers to, keep ticking them off. But yeah. And
well, it's just a feeling that was so odd. One that I've not ever really had, not in this particular fashion, because it was, and still isn't, anything I could point to.
Well, yeah, because all of you's never died before. on all of your bodies, in all of your different things, and birth this whole new thing. And I'm not. It's not just the shirt in this chair.
No, I realize that.
In fact, it is not only not just the shirt in this chair, but the shirt in this chair is that which is housing and calling everything forth to come into this chair. All of your quantum multidimensionality. So there's no room for all of the old things. They can't live anyways. They won't stand. Just won't work. They've got to be discarded. But so the judgment and the thinking and all these kinds of things, the old habits and the way that it's right, or the way that it's comfortable, right? The way that it used to be. I always done this, or gone. It's all dead, all gone, all dematerializing.
Wow. Really wish this was wine instead of kombucha at this moment. Because it's very discombobulating.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess I just need to, become like a fish bobber and just float, I guess. I don't know.
Well, what comes to mind is, a dandelion puff came to mind. So it has its expansion and it has its creation right in it, right? And it's not attached. It's not saying, hey, the wind, Gaia, you got to blow me left. Now I got to go east or south by southwest. No, it's got all of that potentiality. All the total field of possibility is right there. It's that. It plays all of the positions, in that field. You're talking field of dreams. And it's just floating. It's letting go, and it's materializing, creating a new, right? Isn't where it was anymore. It's certainly not the old yellow dandelion thing. It's now the fluff. What you say?
I'm sorry, Lisa.
I'm feeling quite fluffy myself right now.
Well, it's very interesting to me that you chose dandelion. Lisa called my attention to the fact that we have one yellow dandelion has appeared outside our kitchen.
Oh, and it's proud as it can be.
Well, see, your own personal metaphor is showing right up for you. Yeah. So if you're, and you're, we talked about, I don't know if we talked about this on camera yet, but we talked about it off camera, where the words that you're using have always been important, and they always matter because they bring it into matter. But now more than ever, because it's will show you which direction, or is that the dying, the letting go, the totally stripping off, and just dematerializing was the best way to put it, right? Out of you, and your languaging is going to show you that. Or if you're planning on something, or if you're looking about something, or you're thinking about something, instead of using the high heart to think about it, and using that communication center to think about it, and using that as your touchstone to feel it, because you can see, sense, and feel far more than your brain could ever think of, and it's leading the show if you're coming from that core, from that high heart place. And there is no emergency. There is nothing wrong. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to be attached to or anything else from that center.
Well, yeah, see, that's why I think that was playing into that for me, because, there's been a lot of, really nothing actually has changed as far as, everything is great. I have a place to live. Everything is fine. It's not, nothing's dire. It's just that it was very discombobulated feeling that I had within. And now, like I said, this entire conversation has been very helpful, because what bodies it was coming from, I couldn't, I was having those physical.
A couple zillion at once. It could be a couple zillion at once.
Yeah, apparently. Because and I have had the DNA changing thing, because my situation specifically had to do with bone. You were talking about finger, and mine had to do with my ribs, and the fact that they have physically altered.
Yeah.
And
it's happening in, if someone says something, yes, because it's happening in all of those different things. And as one happens, or you hear something else happens, how that triggers in you will bring more forward. I think the thing I would end by saying for me is that it's a huge conversation. It's a huge undertaking and happening. We absolutely are, okay, maybe some of you not in the chair, but the rest of you is absolutely thrilled and so excited about what's going on and how it's happening and how it's unfolding, and what delighted, absolutely beyond delight, of what's dying and what's being birthed, because the one gives form and plays into and sustenance to them. So there, it's certainly not the linear level, linear contact, linear holding, linear attachment, linear constriction of dying. It's something totally different. So one of the best things is to, my word is, but I think it's a helpful energetic, is to play with it, to come up and go, oh no, this is another one of those damn things they just talked about. What do I do now? Okay, well, that's playing with it. Because in that, you've actually made some light of it. In that, you're thinking, let go. Okay, pick something up and drop it. I let it go. Oh, hey, look at that. You know what I mean? You're playing with it. You can't get it wrong, and you can never get it done because you're eternal. So,
very true.
I'm making it a priority to enjoy myself.
There you go.
So no matter what I am doing, I'm doing it in joy.
Yes,
and
that's a new.
That is
yeah,
a full-time job in and of itself.
Yeah.
But it feels really good, and it shifts everything in the most delightful way.
Yes. And it begets more of that, of what you want, what you think you want, and then you can shape it and sort it and shift it. It actually also begets, and this again is a delicious thing, it begets more of that hyper acceleration. Oh, yeah. But if you're in joy, you now have your super wings, right? Or your super, floaty thingy in the pool, right? Whatever it is, you've got all of those things, and you can move forward in a more, even more expanded and even more accelerated way.
Yeah, participate in your own.
Yeah, because it's
acceleration
happening anyway, so you might.
Right?
Well, the good news is, for me in this one in particular, is that even in my discombobulation, I've noticed several, of course, programs that have tried to reassert themselves, even though, I really was trying very hard, and am still trying to roll over on my back and float through it. But just the noticing of the discombobulation and this conversation, actually, like I said, it really helped bring it right here for me and help me see some of the other things that in trying to work through, figure out what was going on with me, some other programs that, I'm obviously ready to let go of because I saw them now. Mm-hmm. So, well, thank you both.
Thank you.
This has been very helpful for me. I hope it's been helpful for others. And I'd love to hear from anyone who feels so moved to share, or to, if you have any questions or whatever.
Yeah, give us a dis or a com or a lobulated,
Okay. I kind of like that.
Lobulated.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe, hey, the whole discombobulated all at once, but because that's playing with it.
Yep, absolutely.
And when we're asking that, how do you meet that? Where is the programming? Where is this? Because I can guarantee you, most people, we've got attachment, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this. I can need 25 more hands at least, right? So meet that, play with that. And then expand. Let all those die, expand, and take it someplace further. Spread your wings and do it in a way. Even if you write it and don't send it. All those things, right, are all metaphors to let the old let go and the new reveal.
Yeah.
You are, it's all at the behest of you. And I'm not ready or not thinking about it. Okay, great. Those are all choices, but they're at the behest of you. And so the energetics and the energy frequencies and the whole shift is occurring, and you are here. So if you'd like to make it more comfortable, more enjoyable, more less discombobulated, you know, all those different things, then being active in you, your creation, what you set the roadmap for, because the rest of you is already active in it and is waiting with a loving embrace and all the things, none of the things that we talked about. So no judgment, none of those things. And it's there, right there. And shebang, as soon as you're there, you know, you're off to the galaxy races.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm ready for that, I'll just say. Well, I will link that other, if I can find it, that is, the other video that we talked about with the frequency light upgrades. That's been over a year ago, I know, but I will try to link that video in the show more section of this one. And I wanted to say that if you have not subscribed to Conscious Conversation Central, I would love it if you would please do so. Also, like this video if you do like this video. You know, you're free to hit the not like too if you want, but hey. And if you're subscribed here, but you're not subscribed to BZ Rieger's channel, I'm now including links to your channel in the show more section as well, BZ, so that folks can just very easily click on your channel and subscribe to you as well.
Okay.
So would love it if you're subscribed to BZ's channel, if you would also pop over to Conscious Conversation Central and subscribe over here. What with YouTube doing its little funny business here lately, apparently you never know when either one of us might go away. So there's also links in the video for signing up for the email if you want to be on the email list. So if that should happen, you could be notified about a different platform. And there's ways to get in touch with each one of us in the show more section as well. And so I thank you both for coming in, chatting with me about this in particular, because I still feel, I'm still feeling discombobulated, but at least now I know why. And I'm a whole lot better for, I mean, you know, just having that resonance in my own body of because I won't say understanding, it's a grokking for me. I get it. And I know that what we've discussed here is so, because I can feel it. And it makes a whole lot of sense.
And that's what's important, because the thinking and understanding are the old things. Because this is how you communicate. This is how you know everything. This is how you build everything. This is how you do and be everything.
I think that's why I like the word grok so much, because it's like, for me, it is that alchemical epiphany. It's the feeling, and it's more than just the feeling of it, which is why I think I use that word so much. So thanks, guys. Till next time.
Bye.
Much love.